Do you have what it takes to be a data analyst? Because it's not for everybody. Let's explore if this career is even right for you before you start your journey. In this video, we will cover salary, growth, and what it's like to be a data analyst. And most importantly, if it really aligns with you as a person. Because there's nothing worse than getting burnt out at a job only to pivot later on in your career and have all of that time wasted. Let's start with why everyone works in the first place, salary. As of this video, the average entry-level data analyst salary is $65,000 to $70,000. Now, of course, that comes with a yearly bonus, 401k matching, health benefits, and other perks like a work laptop or some company swag, or even a budget for more courses to help you upskill in your tech stack. Which to me, this is all fantastic. I went from working in a warehouse making $20 an hour, and I landed my first job under the national average, but in my scenario, this was a huge step up in pay, so it was well worth it. And I just wanted to get my foot in the door because I know that salary won't last forever and I'll have a higher one later. So I was happy to really take any position. And taking any position might be something you want to consider. Now you have to think of it like this way. That job's not gonna last forever, so you're not gonna make under the national average forever. It's much easier to land your second or third data position because you already have that experience. But you really need to look into your own tolerances and salary requirements. That's really something you have to do on your own before you take a salary that you're not comfortable with. Now keep in mind, after a year at your first data job, you have one of two options: asking for a raise or job hopping. I know people who love where they work, so asking for a raise is a no-brainer because they don't want to work anywhere else. They also live a lifestyle to where the salary that they have is fine with them. And you could be looking at a few extra $1,000s a year, up to maybe $10,000, $20,000 with that promotion. But it's really up to what the budget is like at your company. And those who choose to job hop, kind of like I did, it wasn't the main plan, but I did it because I had to think about myself and my family. You can see some huge salary increases. For instance, my salary from my first to second job was a 50% increase. Now that is massive. So after entry level, you will be a plain old data analyst. So you can expect a salary from $80,000 to $100,000 a year. And after that, a senior data analyst. So you can look at salaries that are ranging 100K plus. Now, it does greatly depend on the tools you use and the company you work for. The cap at this stage in your career varies drastically. Some industries cap out at 125,000, some are above 200,000. And of course, with all of this, you still have your yearly bonus on top of that. I have seen anywhere from 8 to 11%. So as your salary goes up, so does your yearly bonus. Now let's talk about growth, my favorite part about being a data analyst. You have so many routes to take once you're in this field, but let's talk about the most common ones. One way is to work up as an individual contributor. Now this is where you don't lead a team, you don't manage anyone, you just do your work and do it well. So as you're learning tools, you become really good at them, you start to specialize, you could start requesting more money for your skills. And once you start specializing, you could start asking for those higher salaries at different companies or ask for a promotion because you're becoming more valuable to the skill set you have. But it still won't be as high as this other way. Management. You could work your way up to lead a team of analysts. This, of course, comes with a higher salary, but it's not for everybody. Not everyone wants to manage a team. Not everyone wants to have that stress of when projects don't go your way because your higher ups are now breathing down your neck. Now with this role, you won't be using the tools like you would as an individual contributor. You will be more hands-off. You might get your hands a little dirty in some SQL every now and then, but realistically, you won't be in technical tools that often. Your role will start to focus on what the business needs and how your analysts are performing their projects. And of course, making sure your team's doing what they need to be doing. Now that's a great upwards trajectory. You could also make a horizontal pivot. Once you're in data, you might gravitate towards certain tools or processes. Now this will lead you down a route of becoming a data engineer or even a data scientist. Now, these roles are so much easier to get into after you've been a data analyst for a little while. A data engineer focuses more on building and maintaining systems and infrastructure that handle data storage and how it's processed. And a data scientist focuses more on analyzing data to build models and algorithms that predict future trends and uncover insights. I won't go into too much detail about these two, but they do have higher salary caps because they are more important to companies when that company actually needs those roles. Now let's see if data analytics is even right for you. You will want to have certain traits for this to be a fulfilling career, so you won't get burnt out later on. So you need to ask yourself a few questions. Do you love learning? This is an absolute must. It's important to keep up with the latest trends and features with the tools you use. This is also important because the tools you've learned to get your job in the first place, that doesn't mean those will be the only tools you ever use, so you'll have to learn new ones. You will learn so many different tools as the business needs pivot or processes change. Learning doesn't stop after your initial courses to get you into data. Do you love problem solving and doing it alone? Normally, you will be assigned projects without any direction on how to complete it, minus what your stakeholders might want as their final product. Your hands won't be held for this process and there will be no walkthroughs. So you have to be curious and have drive to overcome some hurdles and know when to ask for help to the right people. You'll always need to try first. And lastly, can you handle tight deadlines and presenting? Now, of course, it doesn't happen at every job, but ad hoc requests are very normal. You will get them right in the middle of a project and they need to be handled right away. If that's not how you like to work, you may want to rethink about becoming a data analyst, as like I said, this is pretty normal. Also, presenting is very normal. After completing a project, chances are you will need to present or walk through your project to higher ups. Now, this depends on the company, but it could just be your direct manager or the whole leadership team. Think of a panel interview, but the numbers you are going over are for the business and they are going to have plenty of questions. You, of course, should have all of those answers to those questions as you put the dashboard or whatever together. You also need to know how to handle the I don't know. If you don't know an answer to their question, you need to have a proper response, and it could be something as simple as, I'll look into it. It's not everyone's favorite part of the job, but it's definitely one. So make sure that is something you are okay with doing, as you'll be doing it quite frequently. So if all of those things we discussed are okay with you, then yes, data analytics is right for you. But if certain areas are a hard no, you may find yourself having a hard time finding the right company to work for, or you may just want to give this career a little bit more thought before you dive into learning all of these skills you need to learn to land your first job. Speaking of learning everything, if you haven't yet, subscribe to my newsletter and you'll receive a free ebook of what I learned and where I learned it from. I'll leave the link in the description below and it'll be with your welcome email, so make sure you check your spam if you don't see it right away. And that's it for this video. I'll see you on the next one.